Have the Houthis' growing air defenses just outsmarted Europe's best cruise missile technology, leaving a $20 million Saudi strike operation looking embarrassingly ineffective against a ragtag Yemeni force? Have the Houthis just humiliated Europe's so-called most powerful cruise missile, proving that even the most sophisticated Western weapons cannot guarantee results when the target is determined and prepared? Has Saudi Arabia spent a staggering $20 million on precision missile strikes only to fail at shutting down Sanaa Airport, raising hard questions about what all that expensive firepower actually achieved? 10 Storm Shadow missiles fired, and yet Sanaa Airport reportedly stays open. How did the Houthis absorb one of the most expensive single strikes in this conflict and keep their runway operational? Is there a secret Houthi air shield that has now fooled Saudi Eurofighters into staying far back, preventing the close-in targeting that might have actually put Sanaa's runway out of action? Amid escalating tensions with Yemen, Saudi Eurofighter jets have reportedly failed to shut down Sanaa Airport despite launching a costly strike package designed specifically to take the runway out of service. A new report claims Saudi Eurofighters fired Storm Shadow cruise missiles at Sanaa on July 13, deploying one of the most advanced air-launched weapons in Europe's arsenal against a Houthi-held airfield. Around 10 UK-supplied Storm Shadow missiles were reportedly launched from long standoff range, with Saudi jets staying far back rather than closing in to increase targeting precision. The entire operation was aimed at disabling Sanaa Airport's runway, but reports suggest it failed to halt operations there, delivering a significant tactical and reputational blow to Saudi air power. The report estimated that the attack consumed around $20 million worth of precision-guided munitions, making the apparent failure even more painful for Riyadh both militarily and financially. Storm Shadow was jointly developed by Britain and France specifically for strikes against hardened and deeply buried targets, making its reported inability to close an airport all the more surprising. Storm Shadow is a British-French air-launched cruise missile, designed to be dropped from fast jets and fly autonomously to targets hundreds of kilometers away. It is built specifically for long-range precision strikes, able to navigate complex terrain and reach targets deep inside defended territory without putting the launching aircraft at risk. The missile carries a broach tandem warhead, an advanced two-stage charge designed to first punch through a hardened outer layer before detonating inside the target structure. Storm Shadow is designed to penetrate defended airspace by flying low and using terrain masking, making it one of the harder cruise missiles for conventional air defenses to intercept. Its primary targets are bunkers, command centers and airfields, exactly the kind of hardened infrastructure that Saudi Arabia was apparently trying to destroy at Sanaa. Saudi jets reportedly stayed at maximum standoff distance rather than closing in on the target, a choice that preserved the aircraft but may have significantly reduced the accuracy and impact of the strike. While keeping jets safely out of range reduces the risk of losing expensive aircraft and pilots, analysts say this approach can limit strike effectiveness when targets require more precise terminal guidance. The decision to stay at maximum distance may also reflect genuine Saudi concern about the Houthis' growing and increasingly integrated air defense network, which has already claimed multiple expensive aircraft. Through years of conflict and battlefield adaptation, the Houthis have built a far more integrated air defense network than most outside observers expected, combining radar systems, missiles, and electronic warfare. Reports have claimed that Houthi air defense systems have succeeded in shooting down Western-supplied drones and even combat aircraft, proving their defenses are more capable than their makeshift image suggests. Reported losses to Houthi fire have included Saudi Eurofighters, F-15 Strike Eagles and multiple U.S. surveillance and combat drones, a casualty list that explains why pilots are now refusing to fly close. The United States has approved a proposed $1.96 billion weapons package for Saudi Arabia as regional tensions continue to rise. The proposed package includes up to 20,000 Advanced Precision Kill Weapon Systems, or APKWS, along with associated warheads and support equipment. The sale also includes LAU-131, a 7-shot 70mm rocket launch pods, according to U.S. officials. 66 Malawian Quachars rocket motors, 152 Malawian Quachars high-explosive warheads and proximity fuses, also part of the proposed defense package. Saudi Arabia requested up to 10,000 air-to-air APKWS-2 guidance sections to strengthen its air defense capabilities. Riyadh also sought another 10,000 air-to-ground APKWS-2 guidance sections for precision strike operations. The U.S. State Department said the proposed sale supports America's national security and broader foreign policy objectives. Washington said the package would improve Saudi Arabia's ability to counter both current and future security threats. U.S. officials also said the weapons package would enhance interoperability between Saudi, American, and allied military forces. Washington continues to describe Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally and one of its key strategic partners in the Middle East. The announcement came as tensions between Saudi Arabia and Yemen's Houthi movement continue to escalate. The proposed sale also comes as the United States expands military operations and naval pressure against Iran across the Gulf region. The State Department said the transfer would not affect the readiness or operational capabilities of the U.S. military. The proposed deal must now undergo final review by the U.S. Congress before it can be formally completed. The Houthis have issued a clear warning to international carriers, urging them not to operate in Saudi Arabian airspace until the restrictions they oppose are formally lifted and safety guarantees are provided. The Yemeni group publicly implored airlines and governments to take our warnings seriously, framing the plea within a wider context of escalating regional tensions and the very real possibility of further military reprisals. That advisory comes on the heels of reports that Saudi forces conducted a strike aimed at Sanaa International Airport, an attack that sharply heightened fears about the safety of nearby civilian flights. Tensions spiked after a Mahan airplane from Iran landed in Sanaa, which is under Houthi control, prompting alarm among regional actors and observers who saw the arrival as politically and militarily significant. According to Houthi statements and unconfirmed reports, that aircraft was carrying senior movement leaders returning from travel in Iran, a detail that added to the diplomatic sensitivity of the flight. The delegation's trip was reportedly to attend the funeral of Iran's former supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, an event that underscored the close political and ideological ties between Tehran and the Houthi leadership. Saudi forces are reported to have struck Sanaa International Airport around the time the aircraft was returning from Iran, an action that Houthi officials say directly endangered the plane and its passengers. Following the strike and growing concerns for its safety, the plane diverted and was able to make a safe landing at Al Hudaydah, the Red Sea port city, according to local authorities. The Houthis warn that civilian flights remain at risk as long as Sanaa Airport faces what they describe as an effective blockade, arguing that restricted access and military threats make operations unsafe. This aviation advisory arrives amid a renewed flare-up of tensions centered on Yemen's principal international airport, turning what had been tentative post-conflict normalcy back into a flashpoint. The Houthis have a history of issuing comparable warnings in the past, specifically targeting commercial flights with perceived links to Israel, which has repeatedly raised alarm across the aviation sector. Regional carriers and aviation authorities are now closely monitoring the evolving security situation, reassessing routes and contingency plans to mitigate potential risks to passengers and crew. The latest Houthi advisory has reignited fresh concerns about the safety of civilian aviation across the Middle East, prompting airlines, insurers, and governments to re-evaluate risk and operational decisions. Yemen has accused Saudi Arabia of targeting Sanaa International Airport in violation of international humanitarian law. Houthi leaders warn that Saudi Arabia will face serious consequences if further attacks are carried out. The group says its campaign to break what it calls the long-running blockade of Yemen will continue.
The Yemeni armed forces carried out a high-quality military operation targeting Obo International Airport, launching several ballistic missiles and drones. By the grace of God, the operation successfully achieved its objectives. Through its reckless decision to launch an unjust attack on Sanaa International Airport, the Saudi enemy bears full responsibility for this brutal aggression, which served the American Zionist enemy, as well as for the resulting repercussions. The Yemeni armed forces are determined to stand firm in repelling the aggression and lifting the unjust blockade on our country. In this context, we warn all airlines against flying through Saudi Arabian airspace and urge them to take our warning seriously until the blockade on Sanaa International Airport is lifted.
Meanwhile, reports say President Donald Trump has backed a proposed Saudi military operation against the Houthis.